Monday 6:30 p.m. Eastern. A Healing Path with Reverend Robyne Marie. Zizi Majid. Surviving illness and their loved ones. Special guests.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, how are you, Robyne?
Good, thank you. I'm okay for a Monday.
Monday's a tough day.
It was rough, yes.
Yeah.
Not bad, just busy, very busy.
Monday's a tough day. The weekend you relax and then you have Monday. I'm excited about the show we have ahead of us and the guests that we have. So let us start with our usual breathing exercise.
Yes, let's relax.
Yeah, to relax, center ourselves, and be more focused and calm our minds. And I do a short one. So the way it works is you inhale slowly, hold your breath 1, 2, 3, and exhale slowly. So let's start. Okay, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, I hope you're ready, Robyne. I am kind of today.
Yes, that always helps. And I want to encourage all of our listeners out there, please continue doing that daily. Yes. And a couple of times a day, you may have to.
Yes.
Very relaxing.
Very relaxing, yes. So before we start with the usual, let's talk about what's going on with you and how was the week like? And
yes, Friday was very, very busy. I was volunteering through the Women's Club for the National Cancer Association, and we raised almost $80,000.
Wow!
So it was phenomenal. They had their 5K here in Bergen County, New Jersey. And of course, they have it all across the country. So I hope you get involved. I do encourage you. And, the little bit that you can do to help, how much it can bring in for these needy people, certainly helping them with their illness, with medicines, with cures, hopefully. They're making a lot of progress.
So you'll be happy to hear that I registered for their walk. It's a 62-mile walk for the whole month of July.
Oh my!
It's posted on my Facebook page, and so it's approximately a little more than 2 miles a day. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it. I'm going to do it. That's a resolve to do it. So I've registered for it. So that's a great, I think that's a great thing anybody else wants to do, And please go to my page and donate or whichever way you can help. So today, the topic
Our topic.
Yes. Is survivors of illnesses and their loved ones.
Yes.
So true to, staying true to our purpose, and why we started this is about trauma and healing, and how when, trauma hits your life for different reasons, illness is one of them, that how do you move forward then? And whether you're a patient or a survivor, or whether you are a loved one taking care, a caregiver, or just family. So that is, the topic, and that's the guests that we have are here to, shed some light on that.
Yes.
Now,
As we were looking for speakers, I'll just mention that there were a lot of people that we came across that have dealt with illness, and their families having illness and all of that, and they have recovered, fortunately. Some not so fortunate. But I am certainly one here that in 2021, I almost passed from COVID. So I had double COVID pneumonia, and it took a whole year out of my life before I could speak again, walk again, and all of that. So, and we know that hundreds of thousands of people have passed across the world because of COVID. But we came across a lot of cancer survivors as well. So just quickly, what we're going to do is do this in 2 episodes. So we have some guests on this week, and I hope you return again next week to hear some other spectacular people that we have that have survived. So go ahead, Zizi. You have some wonderful guests.
Yeah, before I bring them in, I just want to, illness disrupts our, natural body function, and healing is the multi-dimensional. I say multi-dimensional because a lot of things together heal you. So, when this happens, I'm talking about this before I bring them in, because there is a tool. We always want to give you something to take away from this show. Obviously, listening to the stories is going to help a lot, but this tool is a 3-3, they call it a 3-3-3 rule. And how it works is when you're facing trauma, you're anxious, afraid, fear, the mind, goes into the brain, goes into a fight or flight mode. And so what happens is, if you follow this 3-3-3 rule, it brings you back, kind of centers you, focuses you, and our nervous system signals the brain that you're safe. And so you come back to your peaceful state. And the 3-3 rule is see, hear, and touch and feel. So, when you're in that place where you're not feeling good, you sit down and you try to identify 3 objects. Look for 3 different objects that you want, 2, 3. And then similarly, close your eyes, and then identify 3 sounds that you hear. And so the third one is you touch and feel, the texture, the hard, the soft, whatever, cold, the hot. And this whole thing, and I have done it on myself, believe me, when I feel, and I do feel anxious a lot of times, going through the different things. So I have done it, and it works. And I hope that you guys will try it, and when you're in that place when you're not feeling centered and good. So I think with further ado, let's bring in our beautiful, we have beautiful young ladies, twins, and Kelli and Kristin. Can we bring them in, please?
Ah, there they are.
There they are. Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, Zizi.
Welcome.
Hi, Robin. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for being here, for sharing your story. Really, it's to me, this is very personal, again, because I've known them for a very long time. They're my daughter's very good friends, and they've literally grown up together. Mm-hmm. So, and I have seen them go through a lot. And so it's a very special moment for me to have them here, and for you to share the story, which I really haven't seen you for a long time. So I'm so honored, honestly, I am, that you both are here. So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little about yourselves?
Okay. I'll go first. I'm Kelli. We obviously have different last names right now because we are both married, but we are identical twins. And
We couldn't tell.
We are very close, and we always say the greatest blessing our parents gave us was each other, and especially with what we went through with our mom, which we'll get into detail, that is definitely true. We're 38 years old now. We just celebrated a birthday last week, and I live in Bergen County with my husband and our two little boys who are 5 and 4 years old, and I'm currently at home full-time with both of them. I stopped working 3 years ago, taking a pause in my career, and that's where I am.
Thank you.
Very good. And you, Kristin?
Hi, I'm Kristin. Like Kelli said, 38 years old. I live in Hoboken, New Jersey with my husband, my son, and my Boston Terrier, who is I like to call my firstborn, my puppy. I've been in Hoboken for a few years. I'm a senior manager at a Big Four public accounting firm. Zizi, I love the 3-3 rule. And that is something I took off 8 months from my career to have a personal leave, mental health, like priority. And in that, I worked a lot with my therapist and psychiatrist to kind of work on my mental health and healing. And the 3-3 rule was something that I learned a lot about, and I completely support the power in that. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you for, yes, it is.
Okay.
So, go ahead, Rob. You want to ask?
No, I was going to ask. I believe it was your mother that had experienced illness.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd like to tell us a little bit about that.
How old were you then, and the process of what happened then? Yeah.
So we were 19 years old. We were actually in college. We were sophomores in college. We went to school together at Villanova University outside of Philly, and we had come home for a school break. And Kristin doesn't remember it as well as I do, because we actually caught up on the phone the other day about this. And I remember thinking my parents were acting weird, and also we were 19 years old. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the things that I thought back then. I thought maybe my parents were getting a divorce because they were acting really weird. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up coming down and telling us that our mom had breast cancer. It was later found out to be triple negative breast cancer, which means that her body lacks the 3 most common receptors that are targeted to treat breast cancer. So it's the hardest breast cancer to treat. So we were 19 and our mom was 52. And I think we didn't have any friends with parents of breast cancer or any type of cancer, I think, at that time. Maybe some grandparents might have passed. And I think we just were in shock and didn't really know what that meant. And I think we just were like, well, mom's going to beat it. And she was always so positive. So we always just thought, okay, it's just going to be part of life. Right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, as the journey continued, it was definitely a lot of ups and downs, which I'm sure many people can relate to. I think that cancer is something that is a constant roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot for us when when she was first diagnosed, of a lot of like ups and downs of bad news, good news. And when we would get good news, it would be a relief. And then we'd be greeted with bad news sometime after. And, I think that our mom, she really, she met it with such a strong confidence and positivity that in our mind, we thought, oh, of course she's going to beat this. It's something I think, like Kelli said, we were so young. And obviously I think looking back now, there's people who have experienced loss at even a younger age that I find gratitude in the time that we did have with her. But I think we also didn't recognize the reality of it when we were only 19.
Right.
Too young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristin, I love that. I love that you said that gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is so important even now, today, for you we have to be grateful for what we have, what we lost, or what is not there, what is not going to be there. We have no control, but blessed we are for what we have, and to be grateful for that.
Yeah. And I think we've worked on gratitude. Like my sister and I even have tried daily practices of gratitude together to help each other heal, even 11 years out that we lost our mom 11 years ago to breast cancer. And I think a lot of that also comes from her, because in her healing journey, while she was battling cancer, she really did find the silver lining in a lot of situations. And now when I see people, a family member being negative about something that seems small and like minuscule, I want to be like, well, that's not important. Like, let's try to find the good in things, and look what mom did. And, she really did find the silver lining in a lot of things.
So that was my next question, was how did this whole trauma and this illness pave the way, the path to who you are today? To how did it bring you to this? Because, like you said, a lot of people break, and a lot of, they cannot handle, like at a young age, a mother, you're just two of you. So there's not another sibling or anybody else. So, yeah. So how did it help you, and how did it?
I think it's been a journey, and it's been a process. I think for a while there, it was hard to overcome the fear of bad news, because I think we can remember a lot of times returning home from college, or, when we lived in the city and coming back, it'd be like, an update with her diagnosis, or when we had thought we were like celebrating her getting well, like it had metastasized to her bones. And then that's when it started to become more debilitating. So it was really hard to go through that. And I can even remember, like, when I first got my dog, I was so nervous that my dog was going to pass away, because I was putting a lot of that fear of like grief on him. And I've worked, with my therapist to kind of like work through that fear. That I think from like a healing journey, working on myself, working on gratitude, working on the coping mechanisms has built me into becoming like a more empathetic person. I feel like I carry myself and I like to lead with a lot of empathy, but it's been a lot of work to get to where I am. I would say when I think about how it's shaped me, I think it actually made me be a little more resistant to wanting to become a mom myself. I was pretty scared of what would happen if I, became a mom and I left my child early. Like, I felt gypped from what we had with our mom. But, I know the mention, I know we keep saying gratitude, but I can remember Kelli and I had gone to Canyon Ranch in Arizona after my mom had passed, because that was the last vacation we took with our mom when she was well. And someone had said to us when we like went to like a journaling exercise on gratitude, like, wow, you had really good 26 years with her. Some people don't get any good years with their mom. Like, they may have a strained relationship. You can experience grief, right? Even when the person's still there.
Yes.
So once I started kind of turning it around to that and thinking like, okay, I can't hold on to this fear of leaving my child. And then, I learned I was distracting myself with work for too long, and like I needed to work on myself a little bit more. I kind of changed my mindset of like, I can't let fear hold me back. And my mom would want me to be embracing life and living life to the fullest that I can here today. And, after I did do that work on myself, like I subsequently had my son, he's now 2.5. And I like redefined how I define myself as a person. I redefined like how I look at success as myself. And I'm like really grateful that I was able to kind of have that time to get to where I am. And, I just want to share, like, I think I find so much power in like meaning and spirituality. And like my son was actually born one day before the anniversary of my mom's passing. And when we celebrated his 1-year birthday, it was right on the anniversary of 10 years since she had passed. So our family actually took it as a moment to, I think like a mournful moment, right? If it's been 10 years, we miss her greatly, but instead, like, let's celebrate this with life. And we turned something that was once sorrowful into also like a joyful remembrance of both my mom and the joy that my son brings to all of us.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
May I ask, how old was she when she passed?
She had just turned 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always too young.
I know. Yeah. And, she had just turned 60, but in those final months, the cancer was debilitating her a lot. So when I actually look back at photos from those times, it's really hard to look at because I think we were trying to take photos. We wanted to remember Mom's last Christmas. She passed away January 2015, and it's not how she would want to be remembered, even though we wanted to hold on to that, which I commend, the specialists at the funeral home, the morticians, who like they did an amazing job. Like once they brought her back to life in the casket, like it was how I wanted to remember her. She looked
That's wonderful. That's so important to families.
Yes,
most definitely.
She was always a positive force. I mean, I met her many times after she was, and she was always smiling, smiling. She'll walk around the kitchen. She's always had that good positive vibe. She wasn't a person who was just down and sad, and she's so I'm telling you, I'm so proud of you. She today would be so proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done so good with yourselves, because this is a big trauma in your life, but it happened, but you took it to and made something positive out of it. Something positive out of a tragedy, out of this trauma. And that is what real healing is. And it takes a long time. It takes a long time. Healing doesn't happen in a year, 10 years, sometimes a lifetime of work. But that the good thing is that you guys did it. That's so much to be proud of.
So wonderful that you went on to have families. And I'm sure your mother lives within your children.
Oh, she does.
And that's also something else that Kristin talking about gratitude is, our both husbands now, we were dating at the time, so she got to meet both of them.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
She actually asked them both, like, please, be there for my girls. And so that's really important to me. It's something that I find gratitude in, that she had that moment. So she wasn't there for our weddings or engagements or the birth of our babies, but she was there to meet them. And then I think one of the biggest things that we changed our paths was that we grew up really fast, because we were 26 when she passed away, and we were the ones who were planning the funeral. It was really hard for my dad to do that. And, we were the ones who, when she was really sick, we were full-blown caregivers. We would take turns, who was going to end up, helping her up in the middle of the night, and also grateful that we both had jobs that we were allowed to work from home and be there with her. And I really think it just helped us grow as people, and as Kristin said, made us both more empathetic and understanding today.
Very true.
I'm sure. Thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Yes, thank you. Truly appreciate. I know that, I don't know if Sonia's watching, but I'm sure she'll watch it later. But so proud of you guys, and you should be proud of yourselves.
Thank you.
Both have lovely families, and God bless. And the one thing that you said also, Kristin, is that you were afraid, and that's normal also. Because, when you go through such a tragedy, you're afraid that it'll happen, even with the survivors.
Yes.
Survive because they're always afraid that it might come back. Something might happen. Because like you said, it's good news, and then there's bad news, and then there's good news, and then the bad news. But you know what? You have to think positive, and you have to think that everything will be okay, and you have to work towards that. And that's it. And the rest is out of our control.
Yeah.
We can't control. Yeah, that's it.
It's so true. And our mom loved like the thought of the power of now. She really believed in being present. And I can remember towards the end hearing the One Republic song, I Lived, and being like, Mom, you have to listen to this song. And she at that point like really was losing a lot of her gross motor skills, and we played it, and she like lifted up her hand, and she was like rocking her hand to the music, and we played that song later at her funeral. And now there's been many moments in our lives where the song will just come on out of nowhere, and it's a sign from above. And I
take it as a sign, definitely.
It just like brings such love and joy to me, because I know she's watching.
Oh yes, she's always with you.
Always. Yeah. So, and the kids, I'm sure you talk to them.
We do, yeah.
Your pictures, I'm sure you
We do.
Yeah, and a tradition that we started is we go to the cemetery every Mother's Day, and we actually plant flowers, and the boys wear pink shirts, and they say, we're going to see Grandma Deb, and even they say Grandma Deb is in heaven, and I don't know if they fully know yet what's in heaven. We'll be in church and they'll mention heaven, and Dylan will look at me and say, just like Grandma Deb, and I say, yep, Dylan, just like Grandma Deb.
Oh, and I remember you're saying their grandma, but your grandma, I remember.
Oh yeah, we called her Gagi.
Yeah. They were all listening, and they were.
You loved her, Sonia.
Yeah, she did.
God, I was like, I remember that. It's such a beautiful family, Robin.
Oh.
It was such a huge tragedy, but this is life.
Which also, with the path of healing, your family, your community, your support really makes a big difference. And we are so grateful that we have a good core family. This tragedy definitely made my sister, myself, and my dad really close. All of our friends were there for us. Sonia was with us in the hospital with our mom at the end every single day. We have those friends that we can still call and talk about her. And it's just really important to always, lean on your community, especially when you need them.
Yes.
And I think something we learned is asking for help too. I know it can be really hard for
huge
survivors of illness to speak up and maybe say something that they need. It might feel like you're, accepting defeat, or you expect people to mind read. But I think that we learned that we need to really say what we need, and the people who really care for you will be there, and they will show up, and you'll remember who showed up.
Yeah.
So important.
Okay. How is your dad doing now?
He's doing really well. He actually is dating someone, or he's been with someone now since it's been almost 6 years, and we really like her.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. It took time to get there, and
Sure.
And now I think too, because we were so young, I thought it was all about us. We lost our mom, but he lost his wife. They were high school sweethearts. And he was a primary caregiver even more than us. And that's especially hard for a man sometimes to step into those roles.
Yes.
And, he has his moments with us where he feels that we gang up on him. And sometimes he's like, Debbie left me with the crazy ones, but no, he's doing really well. And we see him a decent amount as he's in New Jersey too, down at the shore. So he's doing great.
Yeah. And we all took on different roles that we weren't used to. I remember my dad had sold our house that we grew up in because it just was too much for him. And I think that was hard for us, but I understand now as an adult. I have, it's difficult for me to go home to that house now.
It is very healthy to move out of that.
It was.
Yeah.
And he moved to an apartment where he rented for a little bit, and he wasn't used to renting, and he didn't even know what to do. And Kelli had to pay his bills for him. Kelli was the finance manager for my dad, who my dad, he had a corporate job his whole life, but when it came to paying rent online, he was like, what do I do? So, we all kind of took on different roles. Yeah.
But God bless him. That's wonderful, that you're able to move on at some point.
And accept the wrongs when we were wrong, and know that grief is a journey, and sometimes one of us will be feeling one way and the other will be feeling the other way. But I think we really did learn to support each other along the path.
Yep, that's life. Everybody has their own paths cut out for them. But as long as you know that if you need, that person is there. That support is crucial. And it's not just you three, dad and you two, your friends, other family, husbands, that support is crucial, because without that.
I agree. And my dad was actually the one who helped find me my psychiatrist. And I think that that's something when I wasn't doing well.
I'm so glad you reached out that way.
Yeah. I had my dad calling and finding me the right help. And I felt so grateful that I had a dad who really just no judgment. He was like, all right, we're going to figure this out. And huge help to my dad.
Oh, it's important. You have this is what they say also about illness, physical and emotional. So physical, you cure medically or whatever, but emotional, and then you guys suffered that emotional trauma, seeing such a young age, and for so many years your mother's so ill, and then losing her. So that the lifestyle change, mindful living, then professional help, a therapist, whoever can help you. That's important. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
Because so many people cannot just take care of themselves. They cannot do it on their own. You need that help. Yeah.
And it's about finding the right help too, as it took me time to find the right help as well. And now I love my therapist, and she's helping me in this journey of grief, where I'm now a mom without my mom is different than who we were 10 years ago when we lost our mom. So, it's
very much so.
It's a journey, and I'm grateful that I found a good therapist as well.
Yes, always good to interview different ones.
Yes,
and
not be afraid to step away if it's not the right one.
Yes,
yes,
definitely.
And they should not take offense.
No,
right. And that's actually something I think we learned from our mom. I think it's easy to, memorialize our loved ones who have passed on because we want to always remember the best. But I noticed Kelli wasn't prioritizing her like mental health while being a mom, because it's really easy as a mom to put yourself last. You put your kids first,
always,
everything else. And I said to her, Kelli, like, mom was an amazing mom, but she wasn't the best role model because she didn't put herself first until she got cancer. She always put us first. We were the beneficiaries of that. She always put dad first. She always put family and friends first until she got cancer. And I said, you need to put yourself first, Kelli, and find the right therapy because you want to be the best version of yourself.
Also count.
Yeah.
But that's where you start. You have to start with yourself. And then only can you do help or do whatever else that you need to do. Because if you are not good, if this person is not feeling good, then that person you cannot help.
Yeah.
So it has to start from here. And that's not being selfish, because sometimes when I say it like that, it sounds like, take care of yourself. Take care of self, because you have to be in a good place. You have to be, centered, and you have to heal yourself, because you're going through something too. And so then after that, when you are there, then you can take care of whatever else needs to be, or whoever else needs to be taken care of. But if you are all a big mess,
right,
how are you going to take care of anybody else or anything else?
So as they say, when mom's happy, everyone's happy.
Yeah. It's like you're putting on your oxygen mask first, right?
Yes, you have to be well.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. All right. So.
Okay. Well, looks like we're at that mark, and I want to thank both of you. It was so lovely to meet you. I know Zizi's known you for a very long time, but God bless you. Continue on your healing journey, and enjoy your families. And we hope you let us know how you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Come on. If you want to come on again, whenever.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Be well.
You're stars now.
Oh, thank you. And we'll continue to watch as well.
Yes.
Great.
Take care of yourselves. Love you both.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Well, that was very good.
Yes.
Very good. Certainly touched on things that we talked about the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And people that have gone through surviving illness, they do experience the 7 stages of grief.
Okay. Yes.
So, and accepting their illness, being able to move forward in the illness, getting past that hurt and pain, what you may leave behind, or like in my case, being threatened, almost leaving this world. I hung on. And that's what you have to do, because you have a lot of people that need you and love you. And so our next guest, very honored to have him on, Christopher Diceare, fellow Italian, and he's nearby. We've done a lot of shows together, paranormal shows. He has a book, and he now has a Netflix documentary that's out, and I'm just so proud to have him here. And I'd like Sean to please bring him into the studio if you could. Hi, Chris.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Welcome.
Chris is a survivor. I've just seen him after a couple of years. We had not done some things together, mainly because I was ill and I stepped away from things. But Chris shared with me just last weekend, 2 weekends ago, that he is a survivor of cancer. And we didn't know, because as he gets to talking, you'll see what a bubbly, outgoing personality he has. And he's a light. He lights up the whole room when he comes into it. He demands your attention in a good way. So a lot because of his jokes. So we'll see if he can get through this without some of these
Looking forward to that.
cookie jokes. But Chris, please, if you could, you summarized everything a week ago to me, and I was shocked at what you've come through, and thank goodness you're here to tell us again. So if you'd like to tell us your journey.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on, and I appreciate it. And those two women, those twins, are amazing people. They're very positive, constructive. It was nice I was inspired by them and their journey. Each of us has things in our lives that occur we don't always talk about, we don't always initially embrace because they're difficult or challenging or frightening. For me, that actually happened May 20th of this past year. I went to the doctor and I said, I'm having some blurry vision. I may have allergies. And then the doctor said, I don't think it's allergies, and sent me to an ophthalmologist who let me know that I probably had eye cancer. And I thought, I've never even heard of eye cancer. What is that? And apparently there was a lesion that had burst through my retina, and that was causing the blurriness in my vision. And they sent me down to Sloan Kettering in New York City, Manhattan. And I met with the doctors, the surgeons. One of them is Dr. Jasmine Francis. She's world renowned, very intelligent, kind, amazing individual. And she asked me what my goals were. I said, well, I'd like to keep my vision. And she said, well, that's a nice thing, but our job is to keep you alive. If the cancer spread, by your brain, you might have months. And that was a shocking thing to hear. I hadn't even thought of that. I thought, well, it's an illness. Let's fix that and move on. Only 3 weeks prior, I'd been told my Netflix show was coming out in the fall. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't even see it. I have a granddaughter who is 6 years old on Poplop, and I just love to see her. She's such a bright light in my life, and I thought, oh my gosh, no Poplop for my granddaughter, Sylvie. And so I needed a couple seconds to just think. And I went through all the stages, I think, in 30 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. And I just looked at the doctor. I said, well, thank you for telling me. Let's do this. And, it was an interesting thing to put payable upon death on your accounts and to make sure your will was okay. And but that's what you do to be responsible. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm a husband. So I want to make sure my family's okay. And on June 2nd, my wedding anniversary of 36 years, I had my surgery called the brachytherapy, where they inserted radiated pellets on a disc, and they put that behind my eye. Don't ask how. I'll just leave for that part.
It's fascinating to me.
Right, and the idea was to burn out the cancer out this way. And I remember the doctor said right before I was going under surgery, she said, this is strong enough, this radiation, to kill 20 people. And I thought, wait a second. I'm a person. Is that bad? Because I had to be quarantined. And they said they focused it so precisely that it just went out of me and not into my body. So on June 5th, I had a second surgery to remove the radioactive materials. And I was told that, well, you're 80% chance to be blind in your eye. We're hoping we got most of it. We got to see. And I woke up and I had sight in my eye. I got to see my family. My sister bought me this T-shirt, so I wear it down in Manhattan. My mom, my dad, my wife, my family, all were so kind. And the most amazing thing to me was on Facebook, Instagram, and on X, all those things, hundreds of people reached out to say, you got this. We believe in you. We love you. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not anyone to them really, but it was nice to know that in some way I had a positive impact on them. They cared enough. I had students who reached out to me 20 years ago, and I felt so loved. I could almost feel the warmth of their energy and their prayers and their kindness. And I stopped that moment to say, you know what? I know it's going to happen. I might have 90 days, maybe longer, but at least I know I lived in a way, thankfully, either through grace, through wisdom, through luck, that I had value to people, in some way I mattered. And I was so glad that I was able to accomplish that before I left. And now you see me. I've had 4 more surgeries. There's no more cancer in my body. I I'm cancer free, thankfully, and
Oh,
I get
amazing.
to share that journey. And it's interesting because people talk to me about mostly the haunting in college. When I was 19, it's my age with the ladies were when their mom got cancer. And back then I had to quarantine because the ghost was chasing people and I had the scratches on my back. And so in a way, being quarantined for the surgery was almost like going back in time to the first time I had to quarantine. That was self-quarantining. This was forced quarantining, but it really teaches you when you lose that contact, how valuable it is to hear a voice, to be able to touch someone's hand, to give a hug, to be able to see someone. And I think, to make this quick, if it's not too late, it's just I realized to enjoy every meal, every sleep, every friend, every song, every moment.
Yes, you certainly see things differently after
Yes.
going through that. It's a
Absolutely.
whole different perspective on life.
Yes. And I'm very thankful to be here. Very thankful.
We're thankful to have you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's important for people to hear because there is so many now. Today, there is all kinds of cancers out there. I mean, there are some that have been there for a while, which are common and people know, but there are some that people don't know
Just
about.
unusual ones.
Is one of unusual. This is one of the ones
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't know that, and I'm so happy that you didn't hesitate and took care of it quickly. And yeah,
Well, my doctors were tremendous. In my book, I thank my doctors. The doctor who found it, the doctor who advised me, the doctor who treated me. They saved my life. They have thousands of patients every year. We're one of 1,000. But the doctors I had, luckily, invested in me and spoke with me and cared for me. And that was a really, really amazing thing. And I asked them, well, how did this happen? Was I in the sun too long? Did I eat the wrong foods? And they said, no, this is genetic. It passes down in your genes. It can skip 5 generations, 8, 2, 6. You just never know. So it's in there. And like many cases with breast cancer too, it's good to know what the history of your family is, so you can keep alert for those things, just in case you catch it right away. Because like anything else, the sooner you catch it, the greater your chances of getting through it. And so again, I can't tell you how lucky I am.
did you find out, or did you know who had in the past, which member of the family, or no? That
Anyone immediately that had it?
Well, I did ask. I did some research. I had a great grandfather who was missing the same eye. He had like a big eye. He passed away before I was born. My mom was still young. And I didn't know if maybe that was what had been, because the doctor said to me, 50 years ago, there's no eye. 100 years ago, you're gone. That's it, just to the end. So I felt also very lucky. Sometimes we fantasize about, what if I lived back in this Victorian era? How wonderful, what if in the age of Emperor of Rome? But in my case, living here and now was the best option for me, because it allowed me more time to be with family and friends and to hopefully share a message of positivity, and so I'm lucky to live when I do.
Absolutely. And you share so much love and light wherever you go. You really do.
I appreciate that. Speaking of which, I have a joke.
Oh, here we go. We almost made it.
Okay, here we go. Why did the ghost take the elevator?
Why?
To lift his spirits. Sorry, I said
Oh.
Sorry. Every time I speak, I do one silly joke like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh. Just the one? Just one?
Oh, I have many, but not for now, I don't think.
You told us a couple at the conference.
Keep your viewership up. I don't want to ratings.
I went home and I was trying to teach my granddaughter how to say them because they were so cute.
Right.
She said, Nana, that's not funny. She said,
She's probably correct about that. Yeah.
She's 4.5. So I said, you have to appreciate who said it, honey.
If you say it in the beginning of your lecture or speech, people think, oh, that poor person. The bar solo, you wrote over the bar. It's easy. It's a home run. Like, oh, he's speaking now. Good. So the bar's very low, and then you sound coherent afterwards.
This is one of the great things you have that might help a lot of people, is having a sense of humor, is laughing just laughing. Because it helps lift you up. You're right. The ghost
So
and the thing,
healing.
but it helps lift everybody's spirits up. And you laugh and you listen to something funny, or you read something funny. So this is something that is good, and I keep it up because
Thank you.
it helps. Definitely helps.
Yes, and when someone does get cancer, it affects not just the person, as we learned in the first half of the show, but people who are associated with that person, friends, family, relatives, and coworkers. People get very sad about this. They're very sad they get cancer, and I would say, no, it's actually good. People talk to me; they love me so much. I'm just like, yay, cancer! I really tried to make a joke of that, so they felt better about it. Because I think if you're depressed, they feel worse for you. But I think if you have a sense of humor about this and
Oh,
you're
yes.
positive about this, I think that buoys their spirits too. Because I always talk to people about the idea of when parents pass or someone passes, and it's very natural to mourn. People mourn for a day, a week, a month, a year, and that's legitimate because we each have our own feelings about how we recover from that loss. But the thing though is, I tell people, but if your mom were here now, what would she tell you? Not to be sad, to live your life, to stay healthy, to do what you want to do, because they love you and you love them. So it's hard sometimes in the moment when the suffering hits you, but the people that you lose would tell you one simple thing: please live your life, enjoy it. Especially if you're of the mind that they still watch down over you and can be part of what you are spiritually. They want you to be happy no matter what. And so while there's a sense of, I'm sure, satisfaction that someone loved you a lot, you still want the people you love to have a nice, healthy life like you want for them.
Of course, they wouldn't want anything else.
Right. I think it's important to remember as we go through our hard times.
Yeah. But also, doctors always tell you that if you want to live, you have to have the will to live.
Yeah.
So if you give up, even if it might not be, an illness that might be terminal or whatever, fatal or whatever, then because you give up, you lose that ability to heal yourself and to become healthy again. So many times, like you said, you have to, if you have that good attitude, the energy, the willingness to live your life, and the want to live your life, that I want to live this life for whoever it is, for yourself, your
Right.
children, your spouse, whoever it is.
And sometimes small
so
victories help.
important.
Little victories help. When I woke up from the surgery, I'm like, yes, I'm here. I just so happen to be here. Yes.
I'm like,
I
oh,
just happen to be here for the surgery, And then they brought in the food. I'm like, well, hey, you know what? I'm hungry today, even though it's kind of a hashy material, but you eat it because, hey, somebody took the time to make that for you. So I really tried to focus on small victories. And when I was younger, as a teenager, I used to run marathons. The New York Marathon, Montreal Marathon. They're 26.2 miles. That's a long ways to go. And so in a marathon, you do 1 mile at a time. You focus on your water intake. You follow your splits on your arm for your time. That's what you do, And so I think that also helped me to get through because you take it one operation at a time, one day at a time, and a lot of victories you can have in doing that.
Yes, definitely. I think you were being prepared for this. They say everything you do, the journey, it's leading you to somewhere or something. So
Yeah.
I think you were being prepared for this.
I didn't feel prepared, but you're right. I was being prepared for it because sometimes you don't know what happens next. You don't always know, and hopefully, a good parenting helps. Good friendship helps. Mental health is important to have. Physical health is important, and as Robin was saying, with the COVID, it just wears you down and weakens you to where even sometimes thought and speech becomes a very difficult thing. I got COVID as well, and it's very interesting because what hurt most were my eyes. That's very unusual. So I think the COVID weakened my system, where that let the cancer, kind of take control and do that. It might have advanced that even further, which is an odd thing. But again, there was some quiet.
I've thought about those things too. If
Right?
it worsened and weakened other parts of our body and everything. So
Yes,
yeah.
something. So I'm glad that's over.
Yes, thank goodness it's over. So I haven't, Robin ever mentioned this, but I, 2 years ago, I couldn't attend my daughter's wedding because I had pneumonia. And then of course, everything else, the wedding was happening in a week's time. And then that was more important than myself. And I said, well, it's just a flu or whatever, it'll go away but it didn't. And got worse, and then I ended up in the emergency room. And I was admitted immediately because so I was on oxygen for a week in the ICU, and because I had sepsis. I don't know. It was a big, huge.
That's very dangerous. Yeah.
For me, yeah, from nothing. And I'm a person who doesn't. I just keep going. I don't like, if I have a headache, I don't like taking medications. This, that, the other. I'll just keep going. I'll lie down for a little bit of it. And so it was. I was told that it was infection of the lung and blood that I had. And I didn't even know. I was just, crying because I just was begging the doctors, can I just go to the wedding? And I had oxygen. And can I just go to the wedding? And they said, yeah, when the time comes, because what are they going to tell me? You crazy lady?
Right. Yes.
You're at the ICU without
so serious
infection. You can. And my daughter was like, Mom, we didn't want to say anything, but we almost lost you, because if I hadn't gone to the emergency room when I went, it might not, I might not be here. So
yes,
so
you were
these are the
saved.
things that we don't take care of ourselves firstly. That is important to do, but also that we have to take these things seriously. So like when you started, it get blurry, you wanted to know what it was. Why is it blurry? I'd have probably put some drops in, and then did it hurt? Was it hurting? Was it painful, or
yeah,
swelling or something?
First, it was just a little bit of blurriness, and then I was at a bookstore with two of my friends, and all of a sudden I lost complete sight, both eyes. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm blind! Am I dying? What's happening here?" So I had to sit down by a fan. I was sweating profusely, and so what happened was when the lesion broke through the retina, my brain couldn't understand what it was seeing. It couldn't coordinate. It was just trying to fix the pieces together, and it couldn't do that. It took about 5 minutes before I could start seeing again. My brain started to put together the two halves to make it match. But this eye became permanently foggy because of the blood, the fluid going in there. And so I'd get very bad headaches because my brain was trying to fix what it couldn't fix. So I wore an eye patch for a little while because that would allow the one good eye to see clearly, so my brain could then relax and function normally, because we had dizziness and nausea and things, and the brain could understand why the two aspects weren't coming together. All of a sudden, it went as though sometimes over time your eyes change, your brain can modify, but it happens so abruptly, the brain can't right away relearn how to focus the images together. And that was an interesting thing. And I was prepared to have eye or be blind in the eye. I was prepared for that. I got a cool Cyclops from X-Men visor for my granddaughter to wear, just in case. A cool superhero for that, and she was so sweet. She came to visit me, and she was so sweet. And they have on the iPhone, they have these little, like, what do you call them? They're like little, you put the button and there's a little thing on you. You're like a piece of cake, or you're a big thermometer. But there's one where there's a little space monster, and he has two big eyeballs. But my eye wouldn't open all the way because the cancer side, one eye open, one eye closed. It was so cute. She'd go, pop up to your eye. I'm like, got it. It's the most adorable thing, She'd say, it's okay, you look fine to me. I'll protect you. So it's so nice to have such a lovely granddaughter. And
yes, that's your joy.
She really is. Who would have thought my baby had a baby? I mean, I can't even understand. You can paint a painting and it's beautiful. Make a song and it sounds great, but you create this life in it. The little fingers hold onto your finger, and the eyes open, and they breathe, and they're so tender, and they learn. I remember when she was a year and a half, I took her on a wagon ride around the neighborhood, and she'd make sounds of things she sees, and at one point in time, she pointed and said, moo. I'm like, there's no cow there, Sylvie. Moo. I'm like, no, that's not a cow. And then I looked further, followed her finger, it was the moon.
Oh, the moon.
Amazed by things for the first time. So I didn't even know the moon was out. And here's this little baby, little girl going, look up there, Dad. And Pop Lock, rather. And it's just an amazing thing because she allows me to see the world again with a very innocent approach.
Through her eyes.
Amazing thing. And that came in useful, very handy to me when I had the cancer not long after. So very blessed that my daughter made my granddaughter, and I feel very lucky about that too.
Yes, much more life to be had.
Yes.
So Chris, tell us about your book.
Oh yeah, well, the book is called The Ghost Boy of Erie Hall. I'll hold it up and so you can see it or not. That's
please.
Right there. That picture is made at a toga party at college. I was 19. This is the last moment of happiness before the ghost came into my life. This is the last moment where I was living a very comfortable life. Within minutes of that photograph, the ghost started to appear at the college. That changed everything. I've been living in the shadow of those 90 days for 40 some odd years. You know, I learned about coping mechanisms. I learned about problem solving. I learned about friendships. I tried to understand the world around me. I learned that it's important not to prove things, but to understand things. I thought it was very important too. And who would have thought that all these years later, you know, that now I think 11 million people have seen the show now across the globe. So this little experience back at college in a small town in New York, and I didn't even want to have. I wish it didn't happen, but that's the life lesson. Life occurs.
Yeah, but the good that came from it.
Right. And how you address those things is very important. When you're a teenager, you know, you can be a jock, a brain, a stoner, a geek, a nerd. You know, you're a hip. You pretend you're something. That's facade. That's who you want to present yourself as. The real you is behind that mask. And the real you is different than what you pretend to be. And when things are really bad or desperate, you have no time for the mask. You have no time to pretend. And the real you comes out, for better or for worse. And you might learn things about yourself that you think that's not good and don't like. You might learn things about how strong you are in some instances. And that's actually something to be proud of. But I can tell you this, when you have nothing to offer someone and they still care for you and help you, those are true friends for life. And I learned in the darkest times of my life that these are people to this day are my sisters and brothers because of how we fit together back in the day.
So true. I have, gone through that too. And that's so true. I was going to say that trauma, unfortunately, brings that out in the open, who your friends are and not, and who's with you or not. And also like you said, your strengths and your weaknesses, and somehow it makes you sometimes stronger than you could ever have been if you hadn't faced that, whatever it is that you're going through.
Right.
So,
No question.
Yeah,
that is absolutely 100% true. I'm sad that it happened, but I was lucky enough to learn from those moments. In fact, the scariest moment of the haunting for me was what's called the shower attack, where I was attacked in the shower and I fell on the ground and I was passing out and I was bleeding. And I remember I couldn't move because of the shock and the pain and the cold. And I noticed there was one small droplet, a pear-shaped bead of water on my wrist in the shower. And it was shining. It was beautiful, beautiful droplet of water. And I'm just trying to understand what's happening in my life. And then I saw in the droplet of water, the room upside down. I'm like, oh, refraction. Water refracts light. That's science. And then it fell. I'm like, oh, my water. But I realized, wait a second. It fell because of gravity. 9.8 feet per second. So I have refraction. I have gravity. It fell, hit the ground by my face. And the ground from the tile was dark and it's moisture. So I knew that this was happening. Science was working, but I didn't understand why it would happen with this whole ghost thing. I thought, you know what? When someone has dyslexia, they see the letters, but they can't put them together properly. People say, well, they're not trying. They're lazy. No, they're stupid. No. They see things differently. And maybe realize that people see things differently. It's going to happen. And the more rare their viewpoint or vision, the more they'll be criticized or pushed away because they're different. And in that moment, I realized, don't push people away. Rather, you bring them in so that your lenses can come together and work together.
Yes. And you had that lesson going forward as you became ill.
Yes, that's correct.
To do that. So tell us quickly, because we're going to be wrapping up the show now. So we've just enjoyed you immensely.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, as I said, you're always a light around people. Tell us about Netflix, where we can see you.
Yeah, well, Netflix in perpetuity. It's called True Haunting. It was done by James Wan, who did the Conjuring movies and things like that. The production company was called RAW. They did the Harry and Meghan biopic and Vatican Girl. Amazing. It took 4 years to make. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's in 3 segments to have my father, myself, my friend Jeff, my friend Craig, and Linda, and Father Charlie, they made a documentary of this. So you can go and watch that. It's there now. It was actually number 5 for the Globe in October. That's pretty cool, right?
Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, that's people want to hear. And, it's a story of survival. And because of that, now I get to go on the trail now and speak across the country and hopefully inspire people to be thankful and in the moment, as the twins had said.
But it's important for others to hear your story. I think, so they know. And
It's very helpful.
pleasure. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
sharing. I mean,
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, this
Yes.
is great. I love being on your show. It's so positive.
and
Thank you.
I love the fact that you're so positive. Like Robin is saying, you have this upbeat
He
personality.
is. You would never know.
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
never know.
You're making.
I didn't until he shared the story
Smile.
with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'd rather bring light than darkness, right? You open up, you bring light, people are happy because
If you can
laughter
find that,
always
yes.
feels good, right?
Yep.
A
And
smile
it
always
heals you physically and emotionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you
And
live
it's
your life always
infectious
being-
with
yeah,
everybody around you.
but a good infection. If you
Yes.
always live your life being angry and upset, you don't live your life. You just go through a series of anger. But if you can taste your food, you can listen to music now and then and dance like a child again. If you just look at someone and give them a hug, those are great things that once we go, they're not guaranteed us.
No, no. Thank you so much. I think we
Thank
are
you.
almost at the end of the show. We loved having you, and come back, like Robin said, to the
Yes, yes.
whenever you want to. You're
Yeah.
more than
We'll have
welcome.
other topics.
Am I doing it right?
Thank you.
Okay. And so we'll have the second segment coming Monday.
Yes, next week.
Of, illnesses. Yes.
Yes.
And
We're going to have Blaine Rohan, who has a podcast on right after hours on All Access TV Network.
okay.
And
And
who
we have
else? Marie Sullivan.
Yes.
And she is the president of the Women's Club here in Paramus, New Jersey. So returning as president, she's been president a couple of times, and she's come back from just a year ago dealing with lung cancer. And she spoke at the American Society of, Cancer Society last week, gave a beautiful lecture, and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
just amazing. So she'll be on next week. I hope you all come back. And again, I thank you. Thank you, Zizi.
Robin, you take care. We'll see you next week. Thank you for coming on again, sharing your
Yes.
story. And I think we'll wrap it up now. Yes.
Yes, yes. You can reach us on abletosee.com.
Yeah.
And that's able with the number 2 and the letter C.
And then I have
.me. I always say .com, but it's .me.
And I have At the Healing Path. So you could
Yes.
everybody, please. Here's my book. I didn't have it last time. Reflections of the Healing Heart, and Amazon, available on Amazon. Please go ahead, get it, read it, and review it. I'd love to hear what you have.
Yes, yes.
So
And review the show. Please review the show as well. You can find us right on YouTube. You can sit on your living room couch and pull us right up on TV.
You can see all the shows, the past shows.
Yes, and make sure you click those little hands that are at the bottom, please.
We need that. We love you, and we're. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll try to bring, more informative and shows like this, so that where you and tools to heal, and
much more to come.
Much more to come. Exactly. So take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Namaste.
Bye bye. Take care. Have a good evening.